a class of their own are the teams. Breeding counts, but not as much as intelligence and skilled handling. The winners, handled by Dr. Vincenzo Calvaresi of Bedford, a fluffy foursome of Maltese. The climax, the judging of Best in Show. Champion Vardona Frosty Snowman, a white bulldog, is Best American breed, but top honors go to an import, the miniature poodle Champion Fontclair Festoon from England. She answers to T-Nut.
How much is that doggy in the show window of canine aristocracy? If you go by the work and care, you probably couldn't pay an owner enough. Particularly when the prize is in the bag. You're at the Westminster Kennel Club show, which begins with breed competition and concludes with the variety group and Best in Show judging. The 84th renewal of America's top canine event brings 2,547 entries to New York. From 40 states, the District of Columbia, 3 Canadian provinces, England, France, Puerto Rico, Bermuda, and Cuba. The rings are occupied from 10 a.m. to midnight, leaving ample time for the News of the Day cameraman to move backstage for pooch portraits. You'd just like to take one home, especially when a girl has 2 schnauzers. The English Bull. Anyone want to challenge who's top dog? Care you probably couldn't pay an owner enough.
A dog's life must be a perfect little terrier, so to speak, when the annual show at Ballsbridge comes round. For it's then that bone and sinew and blood and pedigree all come up for judgment after weeks of careful preparation. The Cairns are a big attraction this year, but not because of their small size. In fact, they're on a par in popularity with the Alsatians. And these are only a few of the nearly 2,000 entries, including Northern Ireland, England, and America. They're divided into 375 classes, so you can imagine the job of the judges isn't an easy one. I suppose it's just a case of dogged as does it. On the left is Mr. Montgomery, the Irish film censor and a keen fancier. We don't know whether he was looking for something in a big way, but if he was, a wolfhound or two might have appealed to him. The great trouble these days is to keep a wolfhound from the door. As usual, the pups are great favourites, and one of the cockiest, at least when the children are about, is a little cocker. Dignity and impudence come to life. My word, what a to-do. Master Celium shows off his medals, or at any rate his cup. A party of pretty puppy pointers perkily pose for a perfect picture. Mr. Justice Hanna, one of Era's High Court judges, enjoys a day off to judge for a change these 4-legged creatures. He's used to the big and small cases, so even a borzoi doesn't come amiss. This is the famous prize winner owned by Mrs. Love. Another winner is this Pekingese. He's literally worth his weight in gold.
Anybody care for shaggy dog stories? That's what this might have been, but dog shows being what they are, these poodles are clipped, primped, and powdered to a fare-thee-well. And to tell the truth, some of these canine coiffures are just as incredible as the shaggiest shaggy dog story. Prize poodles from all over Canada are getting the last-minute beauty treatment. No comment as to these details. All in preparation for the once-over by the judges. At stake, a most coveted honor, the top award of the Canadian Poodle Association. Coveted by whom? Well, you may ask. Judging from the expression on the winner, champion prankster Darius, he's pleased as punch about the whole thing. For an audience of 10,000 at Madison Square Garden, the elite of dogdom pass in proud parade for the final judging in the 83rd Westminster Kennel Club competition, the canine world's equivalent of the Olympics. 111 breeds and varieties are represented, 2,544 doggy aristocrats. In a class of their own are the teams. Breeding counts, but not as much as intelligence and skilled handling. The winners, handled by Dr. Vincenzo Calvaresi of Bedford, a fluffy foursome of Maltese. The climax, the judging of best in show. Champion Vardona Frosty Snowman, a white bulldog, is best American breed, but top honors go to an import, the miniature poodle champion Fontclair Festoon from England. She answers to Tina.
How much is that doggy in the show window of canine aristocracy? If you go by the work and care, you probably couldn't pay an owner enough. Particularly when the prize is in the bag. You're at the Westminster Kennel Club show, which begins with breed competition and concludes with the variety group and best in show judging. The 84th renewal of America's top canine event brings 2,547 entries to New York. From 40 states, the District of Columbia, 3 Canadian provinces, England, France, Puerto Rico, Bermuda, and Cuba. The rings are occupied from 10 a.m. to midnight, leaving ample time for the News of the Day cameraman to move backstage for pooch portraits. You'd just like to take one home, especially when a girl has 2 schnauzers. The English Bull. Anyone want to challenge who's top dog? Care you probably couldn't pay an owner enough.
A dog's life must be a perfect little terrier, so to speak, when the annual show at Ballsbridge comes round. For it's then that bone and sinew and blood and pedigree all come up for judgment after weeks of careful preparation. The Cairns are a big attraction this year, but not because of their small size. In fact, they're on a par in popularity with the Alsatians. And these are only a few of the nearly 2,000 entries, including Northern Ireland, England, and America. They're divided into 375 classes, so you can imagine the job of the judges isn't an easy one. I suppose it's just a case of dogged as does it. On the left is Mr. Montgomery, the Irish film censor and a keen fancier. We don't know whether he was looking for something in a big way, but if he was, a wolfhound or two might have appealed to him. The great trouble these days is to keep a wolfhound from the door. As usual, the pups are great favourites, and one of the cockiest, at least when the children are about, is a little cocker. Dignity and impudence come to life. My word, what a to-do. Master Celium shows off his medals, or at any rate his cup. A party of pretty puppy pointers perkily pose for a perfect picture. Mr. Master Justice Hannah, one of Era's High Court judges, enjoys a day off to judge for a change these four-legged creatures. He's used to the big and small cases, so even a borzoi doesn't come amiss. This is the famous prize winner owned by Mrs. Love. Another winner is this Pekingese. He's literally worth his weight in gold.
Anybody care for shaggy dog stories? That's what this might have been, but dog shows being what they are, these poodles are clipped, primped, and powdered to a fare-thee well. And to tell the truth, some of these canine coiffures are just as incredible as the shaggiest shaggy dog story. Prize poodles from all over Canada are getting the last-minute beauty treatment. No comment as to these details, all in preparation for the once-over by the judges. At stake, a most coveted honor, the top award of the Canadian Poodle Association. Coveted by whom? Well, you may ask. Judging from the expression on the winner, champion prankster Darius, he's pleased as punch about the whole thing. For an audience of 10,000 at Madison Square Garden, the elite of dogdom pass in proud parade for the final judging in the 83rd Westminster Kennel Club competition, the canine world's equivalent of the Olympics. 111 breeds and varieties are represented, 2,544 doggy aristocrats. In a class of their own are the teams. Breeding counts, but not as much as intelligence and skilled handling. The winners, handled by Dr. Vincenzo Calvaresi of Bedford, a fluffy foursome of Maltese. The climax, the judging of best in show. Champion Vardona Frosty Snowman, a white bulldog, is...
Hello, everyone. I think my mic is on. Yes? Good. Hello. I am Joshua William Gelb, and welcome to the Theater in Quarantine. It's Saturday, September 12th, and it's 9 o'clock here in New York City. So thank you for tuning in and joining me for a very special volume of Closet Works. As you may have noticed, we've shifted from our usual Thursday evenings to a Saturday night in honor of the opening day celebration for the Invisible Dog Arts Center. The Invisible Dog presents Closet Works once a month, and we are just so excited for both their support and their new exhibition and performances that start today. Well, for those of you in New York City, head on over to 51 Bergen Street in Brooklyn, check it out, or visit their website at theinvisibledog.org for more information. It's been a little over 5 months now since I converted the closet in my East Village apartment. You can see it behind me. It measures only 4 feet wide by 8 feet tall and only 2 feet deep into a white box digital performance laboratory that we call the Theater in Quarantine. We set out to adapt to the digital form without sacrificing the integrity of the live event, all while pushing against the boundaries of social distance and embracing the limitations of remoteness. I've been working with artistic associate Katie Rose McLaughlin and an ever-expanding roster of incredible collaborators, some of whom I see in the chat right now. And I promise that what you are about to see is indeed performed live. Tonight's show marks not only the opening of the Invisible Dog Arts Center, but the last show of our summer season. Every other week, you've been able to tune in here on my YouTube channel to see Closet Works presented by The Invisible Dog with additional support from Mamie, Kanfer, and Justin Stewart, as well as our long-form shows, including our New York Times Critics Pick, The Seventh Voyage, Vegan Tishi, among many others, which you can find indefinitely on this very channel. On October 5th, we will launch our fall season, and I have to say we have some very exciting shows lined up, so watch this space for an announcement coming soon. And make sure also to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Joshua William Gelb, to stay up to date on all our shows, or you can join our Facebook page, Theater in Quarantine. Now, the performance tonight runs about 20 minutes, and afterwards I'll be hanging around with my fellow collaborators, Katie Rose McLaughlin, and guest choreographer, Afra Hines. And we will answer any questions you might want to drop in the comments section. Below, in the description, you'll also find a link to our Fractured Atlas page, where you can make a donation. We hope to continue bringing you theater in quarantine for free, but theater, even on the smallest scale, is not cheap. So please consider helping support this work and these incredible collaborators who make this work possible. All donations go directly to support the artists, so thank you in advance for your contributions. All right, it's 9:05. Let's get started. I'm going to take a brief 1-minute break so I can get into places. Thank you again, and enjoy Closet Works, Volume 4.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a little phrase, and then we can talk about it. Hopefully you can sort of adapt it a little bit, since I don't have a closet here with me. Down, and then bringing this leg through again. And actually, when you're doing that, can you bring your arms around and then through? And then I want to try adding in just like a little bit of constant here, boom, boom. And then by the final time, when you come around here, can you bring your feet on the diagonal and then looking at the camera? And then maybe we have you walk downstage, but there's a draft of something that you can give a go. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much.
So can we just do maybe a couple of steps and then see what that looks like in different?
Sure. Do you want me to keep this effect going, so keep the delay?
Sure. Yeah.
That's helpful for you.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. So I'm thinking, is it helpful if I face you? Yep. Okay, so I'm thinking where you bring your right leg in and it's sort of like a bounce step. So your knee is coming in and then out and then in and then out. Yeah, so keep your weight on whatever leg you're standing on. I don't know, just like do whatever. See. Yes. Yes. I love it. Oh, it's so fun.
All right, thank you guys, and that's for today. Have a lovely evening.
Anybody care for shaggy dog stories? That's what this might have been, but dog shows being what they are, these poodles are clipped, primped, and powdered to a fare-thee-well. And to tell the truth, some of these canine coiffures are just as incredible as the shaggiest shaggy dog story. Prize poodles from all over Canada are getting the last-minute beauty treatment. No comment as to these details, all in preparation for the once-over by the judges. At stake, a most coveted honor, the top award of the Canadian Poodle Association. Coveted by whom? Well, you may ask. Judging from the expression on the winner,
dog's life must be a perfect little terrier, so to speak, when the annual show at Ballsbridge comes round. For it's then that bone and sinew and blood and pedigree all come up for judgment after weeks of careful preparation. The Cairns are a big attraction this year, but not because of their small size. In fact, they're on a par in popularity with the Alsatians. And these are only a few of the nearly 2,000 entries, including Northern Ireland, England and America. They're divided into 375 classes, so you can imagine the job of the judges isn't an easy one. I suppose it's just a case of dogged as does it. On the left is Mr. Montgomery, the Irish film censor and a keen fancier. We don't know whether he was looking for something in a big way, but if he was, a wolfhound or two might have appealed to him. The great trouble these days is to keep a wolfhound...
Hello, everyone. I hope you are well. Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us tonight. It's a real pleasure. I see a lot of friends in the chat, so thank you all for coming on a Saturday, which is a new day for us. Sorry, that one really gets me at the end. So I've got a little bourbon, which I am going to drink during this after show. So thank you all again. This is the end of our season here at Theater in Quarantine, but we're going to be back in just a matter of weeks. Truly, on October 5th, we're starting a fall season, and we are really excited. We have some really incredible stuff. So really subscribe to the channel and also join our Facebook page. Oh my goodness, I'm so tired. Twice in one night. That one's tough. So we're going to talk to Afra and Katie Rose over Zoom, and I'm going to get them right now. That way we can talk to you and answer any questions you might have in the comments section. I haven't even had a drink yet. Just doing the Zoom links. So, whew, gotta breathe. Norman, I see you don't like the mask. Well, I can understand because, frankly, I can't breathe in that thing, and I'm asthmatic. That's why this all happened. Well, luckily, it has cooled down here in New York, which is really
He's coming for us.
Hold on one second, everyone, because they can hear you over my mic. Let's see. All right. I believe... we're good, apparently. Huh? Let me fix my framing. That's weird. Oh, I have to redo the window capture, I see. Yes. Done. No. Hold on one second, everybody. Let's see, maybe if I close Chrome, that'll help matters. This worked so easily before, didn't it? Earlier. Here, I'm just gonna reinstall the source here on OBS because we seem to be having some trouble. And there we are. Much better. Except now I have to like reorient everything. The manual way, which is distinctly less graceful, but nonetheless effective. I suppose I could have done this in a different mode, but that would involve me knowing what I'm doing. Anyway, here we all are. I think we have everyone. Oh wait, I'm gonna get, now that we're here, let me get my headphones. That way we don't have horrible echo feedback. And I'll get back into performance mode. So I believe everyone can hear us and see us correctly now, and we shouldn't be terribly choppy. So I want to welcome Katie Rose McLaughlin and Afra Hines, our guest choreographer tonight. Thank you so much for joining us and being here. Now, I'm hearing an echo of myself, which is weird, but hey, what can I do about it? Anyway, welcome, Katie Rose. You want to take it away while I have a drink?
Yeah, Josh, much deserved drink. Well done.
Nice.
This is like such a taxing program that we put together just yesterday. So for those of you who don't know, every performance, which happens every 2 weeks, the day before we do a dress rehearsal, and we do it on YouTube just to make sure that the stream is okay and it's not glitchy, and everything is looking the way it's we want it to look. And we did it, and we did 3 pieces that we had planned. We had been planning this for 2 weeks, and then I was like, hey, why don't we do another piece? And so then we added another piece that Josh just did, and that was great. And it's really like physically taxing. So well done, Josh.
Our first time with four pieces. Exciting.
First time with 4 pieces.
Yeah.
Also, Norman is worried about your ability to breathe. So just flagging the concern.
Do you want me to take my inhaler or something in front of you? Would that help?
Maybe before you put the gas mask on.
Yes.
Just so everyone knows that you're going to be okay and be able to make it through. I also really want to thank Afra Hines for joining us as our guest choreographer. For those of you who don't know, Afra and I know each other because Afra is in the company of Hadestown. I've had the pleasure of knowing and working with her for over a year and a half. She is a delight, Broadway veteran, just like overall fabulous human being. So it was really exciting to bring her here to work with us and to work really closely with Josh on this great piece. There was a question in the comments that I just want to get to right away.
Yeah.
Where was it?
We have the question, what does MORO mean in the title?
There you go.
Yeah. So MORO is a reflex that very young babies have. It's also called the startle reflex. And basically it's anytime they feel like they've lost support or lost balance. It's this reflex that they do. It's sort of a survival thing that would help them grab onto their mother, essentially. And I was thinking, so I am a new mom, so I've been seeing this in action. And I was thinking about how we're all feeling in this time of quarantine without the support of, physical support, having contact with people that we love or friends, and how sort of isolating it's been. So that was sort of the impulse behind this piece.
Which is it's so beautiful. And also it just is so interesting that this thing that you're witnessing, which is not everyday occurrence, but it's like a human thing, is also so applicable to what is happening right now in quarantine, which made me, when you first started talking about this, I was like, oof. Like, I feel like we're all so desperate to hold on to things. And that's one of the biggest things that we've been working on here at Theater in Quarantine, is making pieces that feel really now and really, really vital sort of emotionally. And it was really exciting to see you put together, you immediately got what the Theater in Quarantine was about and made this beautiful piece.
Yeah, and I'd also love to add, it's such a fun piece that's still dealing with these themes of isolation and what it means to be cut off. But it's got so much propulsion and just such an incredible, incredible assault of imagery. It's exciting to perform, and I love watching it. So it's got such a different energy than so much of the other work that we've built that trying to deal with the same themes, though. So it's really cool.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm. Mm. There's another question somewhere in here asking about where the inspirations for Rue comes from, KR.
Oh, so one thing we have been making, I mean, the first piece that we made, that you and I, the first like full piece that we made was Corners, the piece that we performed today, with, really?
What?
No, but like the first like real, like the first, not like.
No, it was the third. It was the third on the program tonight.
Oh, sorry. Yes, third on the program tonight. Corners, music by Alex Weston. That was the first piece that we made, and it felt like I think we were both sort of surprised at how sad it was. You know, the reason why we sort of started, I feel like, Josh, you brought me and John Levin in to work on pieces, and we were working on clown stuff because we both John and I have a lot of clown training. So we were working on like making funny pieces, and then I was like, oh, I think actually the closet can hold a lot of movement, and let's see if we make a piece that's not necessarily narrative. And what came out was Corners, and just like really emotional and felt really sad. In a beautiful way, and again, really now, in dealing with a lot of the things that both you and I were dealing with at the time when we made it, which was what, March?
March? Oh, you're right. That really? Was still, no, it was still March because it was before we were doing any live shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the inspiration for Rue came from wanting to make a piece that was more upbeat. And around the same time I made Corners, I was listening to this band called the Westerlies. They are an incredible brass quartet, 2 trumpets and 2 trombones. They just like came on my Spotify, which was amazing. And I heard the music and I was like, this is incredible. I immediately like listened to the whole album and was like, I have to make a piece for Josh, because it's just so different than the other pieces that we've made. And so, yeah, so that was sort of the inspiration, was this beautiful, beautiful music. And Josh happens to, so I listened to this band, and then I sent it to Josh, and I was like, I have no idea how we're going to be able to like contact them. But I really love this music. And then Josh was like, oh yeah, I know one of the trumpet players.
Yeah. Riley Mulherker, who's one of the trumpet players, who's incredible, happened to be doing a guest spot in a show I did this past fall at Abrams Art Center called Jazz Singer. We brought in a different jazz musician every night to play and sit in on stage. And Riley was this just unbelievable trumpet player, blew us out of the water, improvised through the whole show. And we brought him on to do the album of the piece, which ultimately ended up never getting released because we recorded it in February. And then this happened. But we hope to release it one day. And so Riley guests on that one too. And it was just really exciting to get to talk to him again and kind of get to hear the rest of his work with the Westerlies and find a way for the Closet and Westerlies to meet up. And it's just really exciting stuff. I love it. Speaking of music, if I may, Afra, would you talk a little bit about the track of your piece? I know we're sort of retreading a bit, but it's a new audience.
Yeah. No, I would love to. My husband, Bradford Hardy, made the track, and it was so fun because it's a new way of us working together. And I sort of didn't really tell him very much about what I was thinking, and he got right to work. And so it was sort of like another, I don't know the right word. I'm like thinking like blind date. Like, I heard the track and was immediately very into it. And this is what we ended up with.
Yeah. Did you talk about what the piece was before you got the track, or was the track first?
No, we talked a lot about it, actually. He's sort of been my sounding board to the whole idea, and like sort of talking to him about it helped me clarify it in my own mind, which is always really helpful. So we talked about the idea and like some of the sections. We talked about the close-up sections of your face. So those built in, but I didn't know what they would sound like. So it was a new way of collaborating.
I just want to check in with the comments. Is first off, if anyone has any questions, please put them in the comments section. Is everyone else hearing a really weird echo? Just double checking on that. No? No, I'm not hearing it either.
Oh, it's gone now.
Yeah. It just disappeared. Oh, Katie Rose, did you mute yourself? Yeah. Okay. Well, great.
Is the echo just coming from me?
I think it is.
I'll stay muted until I talk.
Great, thank you. But apparently no one else is hearing it, so that's fine. Thank you.
I was just checking the feed to see if you were echoey, but it's not. But
No.
it's just me.
I'm just hearing myself is all. Headphones. Yeah, where were we? Oh, we were talking about music. So, of course, Alex Weston is somewhere in the crowd. Alex Weston composed 2 of the pieces tonight. Now, of course, I think it's always worth mentioning. Now, Alex just actually composed Footnote for the End of Time, which was our last show, which he did in like a spurt of, I think, 2 weeks. It's pretty insane. But what I really love about Corners and gosh, I don't even know if I remember the title of our first piece. I don't have a closet here with me. I don't have a closet with me here. One of those.
I think Here With Me.
Here With Me? Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually,
it's a sign of a good title. We just like cannot remember the name of it.
Can't remember it. At the very beginning of quarantine, Alex, we realized very quickly that YouTube has major copyright restrictions. And if we wanted to do any sort of actual performance, and if we wanted to have music, it would be like in our best interest to get as much original material as possible very quickly. And it just so happened Alex had been talking to me a couple weeks prior about how he was thinking of making an album of all of the tracks of his. Alex, of course, is really a film composer by trade. And all of the tracks that had been cut from films and never had seen the light of day. And he was thinking of making an album of some of them. And then when this all came about, I said, Alex, why don't we just, send me all of the tracks that you have no use for and we'll use them. And that's exactly what we did. And we've just been kind of going through them one after the other whenever we need some music. And so that's sort of how a lot of the original Theater in Quarantine pieces got scored. And it's perfect for what we needed. And it was wonderful when Alex could actually like compose something specifically for the closet as well. But that is where Corners and the other piece about a closet with a title come from. Yeah. Great. Afra, what are you working on next?
That's a good question. I don't know. On my own, you mean? Like my own stuff?
I don't know, just in life.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm in the middle. I'm waiting to hear about a workshop that may be happening. It's very complicated though, because it's having to like quarantine and it's like a whole thing. So I don't know if that's.
Oh, you would have to quarantine to do the workshop?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So we'll see. But I am feeling very inspired by this whole process. So I just want to like play and not have it be for something, like
Yes.
just to, and this time is such a treat because we never have this much time. And of course it doesn't always feel like a treat. Like the other night I was feeling really overwhelmed by everything and like wanting to go back to normal, but this time can be such a treat. So I'm now feeling really inspired to just create stuff for myself, just to like, try that, I don't know the words, to like grow that muscle a little bit more during this time with no pressure and no deadlines and no, so, but this process was so fun. And I don't know if you ever have people back, but I would love to come back. Like, that's one thing I will say about this process is like, it feels like I just dipped my toe in and like, now I know how it is. And like, I'm like, oh, there's like this idea. And like, I just feel like, it's just been so great. So if you do repeats, pick me. I want to come back.
No, you're never allowed back. That's it. It's a one and done.
Josh is lying. That's not true.
But if this is you dipping your toe in, I am so excited for what comes next, because you have managed to like do so much in like a 2-minute piece. And
well, you did so much, Josh.
Oh, it's all your ideas.
I don't know if this is possible. Is it possible? And you're like, yeah. Let me click. And I was like, whoa, this is amazing. Yeah.
It was also like and I wasn't part of any of your rehearsal process, but the amount that you were able to get out of Josh and just like your piece in general, like meant that you came in both with a clear idea, but you were also very open to the way the closet works in the, which was really like really impressive. I was just like that. I mean, that's so much. Like you've done so much more than I'm still like, I don't know, go upside down.
So funny is
like
that sorry, go ahead.
No.
I was gonna say when you first sent me like the dimensions and stuff, I was thinking like, where in my apartment can I sort of recreate this? And I like found a spot in my house where I have like a dresser, and I was like, oh, this is like basically the space. And I thought that I would stand there and sort of feel it out, but it's not at all how it ended up happening. I didn't use it at all. So that was surprising to me. And yeah, it's just like this whole thing is like a new language. And I feel like I'm like just dipped my toe in like wanting to get more fluent and like having different ideas. And I just think what you're doing is so cool.
Well, thank you for being part of it. One idea that's coming up, for the fall that we're not disclosing, we may build a second closet somewhere. It may happen, which would be exciting to have, a potentially mobile closet somehow. Because, it's a very strange thing. You don't... Well, I think what's so specific about the closet is its load-bearing nature. In many ways, like because it is such a stable structure, it can really do an enormous amount that I don't think we're used to playing with in theater on a short scale. And that's what's been so fun about it for me, because I can do all of these tricks, and we can do all of the, digital tricks, but also physical tricks that otherwise, if we were, say, doing an evening at Little Theater, would never be possible. Right. So anyway, that's something we're thinking about. And if we have a second closet, I think there's a lot more room for people to start playing, for other people to somehow get into this space, and also to start playing with what it feels like to be inside of it, which is both deeply surreal because it is so small. It's just the smallest thing. Katie Rose, I don't know if you noticed, but in room, I could not see my spike for the board. It was very steep tonight.
Very steep.
That was quite a rake. We made it through. I was surprised.
That gets at like one of the things too that that like, you know, there's nothing that Afra and I can do at any given point in time during the performance to help you, or to like, hey, let's like real quick before the show starts, double check that spike.
It's there.
You know, or like,
just, you know, in the gas mask, you can't see it sometimes. It fogs up.
Yeah. It's just like a not, it's so not a thing that we're used to, is like not being able to help. And I feel like that's like sort of in the nature of theater, is that like, there's always someone to help, you know, an extra hand. Even if it's just like you and I making a piece, like I could like, you know, double check and be like, oh, actually, like, can you see out of this corner of your gas mask to know that that spikes that, you know, but that like, we can't check anything, or like, it's, it's wild.
And this was also, I see you, Michael Leventon. This was also...
What did Michael say?
Oh, he's being funny. This was our first week with a stage manager.
Yes. Ada, thank you.
Ada. Amazing, which I think, speaking to your point, Katie Rose, it's such a funny thing, this digital space, particularly the way we built it out, because you and I have actually the very first piece tonight. I don't have a closet here with me. Somewhere there is no closet here that I don't have. That piece was originally built for CultureHub's Downtown Variety show, and they have a really wonderful system called Live Lab that they've built themselves. It's effectively Zoom, but more maneuverable. And that was an interesting situation where we encountered a stage manager in performance. But in our setup, it's kind of counterintuitive. And so, you know, usually show days are very much I'm on my own and cross my fingers. But what's been very difficult in theater in quarantine, and the thing we've constantly had to like contend with the technology and contend with how we deal with remote collaboration, is rehearsal. And so it's been extremely exciting to have a stage manager in rehearsal, keeping track of things and helping maneuver some of the tech. For instance, like audio inputs are always a pain in the ass. And it's like you have to either play the music or speak. And so to have someone who's there who can actually like manage the tech side of that is absolutely huge, because it's, strangely enough, it's easy to do the performance. That I have the tech all set up for. Sometimes stuff goes wrong, but ultimately it does what it's supposed to do. The problem is when we have to rehearse, the tech isn't set up for that. The tech isn't set up necessarily for all of us to interact and see what we're seeing. So it's been really exciting having you around, Ada. Thank you.
Yeah, that's totally... it reminds me of something on another piece that we were working on. Someone was like, oh, when's tech? Mm-hmm. And we're like, there's no tech, because actually we do tech. Like tech is every day of rehearsal, like, because you're building in all the things that happen in rehearsal. Like sometimes you have to go and program, like sometimes something takes a really long time to program, so you have to do it on your own, but we can't rehearse without it.
No.
And so...
Although we have. I mean, actually, it's gotten much easier for us. I mean, if you think about some of the earlier projects, we really didn't have the view. And you would just sit and watch stuttering, terrible screen shares of me.
Oh, God, yes.
It was awful.
Yes. I've already blocked that out of my memory.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
And now, finally, Zoom has allowed me to virtually, like, input my Isadora files into my window. So at least we're able to see. We're still not able to hear well, which is a problem. And a problem we're still, you know, coming up against. We are getting some questions, so I want to actually answer some questions. First question is the closet freestanding or built into the apartment? Sonia asks. The closet is built into the apartment, so it is a load-bearing, closet.
But it's freestanding too.
Well,
like it's not built into the wall.
No, they're walls. Here, I'll show you. That's a wall.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's a wall. It's drywall. And then I put on 3/4 inch ply onto the sides of the closet so that it would support body weight, which is why we have that handle. Michael Leventon, I saw you appreciating the handle.
No, that was Jeff Jones.
Oh, that was Jeff Jones. Oh, wait. It's Little Theater. I kept seeing Little Lord.
Oh, I was like, oh, interesting. Yeah, no, yes.
It's Jeff Jones out there. I'm so sorry, Jeff.
Jones.
I love you. Hi. Welcome. Oh, no, Michael would never show up.
Thank goodness for that handle, though. I mean,
but yeah.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have the handle. It does support my body weight, and it does, but it is built into the apartment, which does present tricks in terms of actually wanting, and we are talking about like building a sort of touring model of this where we can take it places. But yeah, we need a structure that is very solid. We have another question from Bradford, composer of the evening. How did you come upon the technology? The technology is pretty standard right now. I mean, right now we use Streamlabs OBS to stream to YouTube. Streamlabs is the slightly more user-friendly version of regular OBS, which we've also used, which is great, and open source. So it's actually a little bit more useful. You can do a little bit more with it. For whatever reason, I've found that Streamlabs oh no, I know what reason it is. Streamlabs performs better on my Mac because it goes into performance mode. And performance mode means like it just doesn't show me a monitor or anything like that. And it gives me a much more consistent stream. So that's how we stream. I basically use just my iPhone, and I've got 2 computers set up. The iPhone goes into, let's say, computer B, which is where I have Isadora and QLab, and we do all the video processing and sound cueing, and those are talking to each other for through MIDI and OSC, and
Isadora is named after Isadora Duncan, which is something that I just have to always say because I find it wild that we're like making this like dance involving so much technology, and it's like this program that was named after like one of the most famous dancers.
Well, I think that's actually essential, Katie Rose, because we're still using theater tech. This is stuff that was made for dance. It was made for theater. It was made, particularly Isadora was made to make like projections that interact with live dance. And we're just inverting that and taking the live dance and then finding ways to play with that and turn it into a broadcast studio. And so that all just goes through a capture card into computer A, which has my Streamlabs, and that's what sends it to YouTube. So that is the setup. Oh, and Ada says it's such a great experience for me. Well, thank you. Yeah, well, it's 10 o'clock. Shall we wrap it up? Yeah, thank you all.
That sounds good.
Yeah, thank you, Ada. Thank you, Afra, so much for.
Yeah, thank you, Afra.
Oh, Ada, Afra, Katie Rose, everyone else. I don't know. I'm exhausted.
Thank you, Invisible Dog.
Oh, is Invisible Dog?
Yeah.
Oh, we have a question from Patrick, and we should probably answer that. How does the stage manager remotely? Are they queuing things from home? Yeah, Patrick, actually no. So Ada just kind of hung out tonight and is watching. But no, we're queuing mostly through QLab and Isadora. There are ways that we could do remote queuing. On 7th Voyage, for instance, we used a really effective remote desktop app, which is great. I think it's called Jump Desktop. That is really good in real time. There doesn't seem to be a lot of lag. So we used that. We didn't queue off of that, though, but the designers were able to, while I was dealing with that piece, which was enormous, were actually able to work on all of the files on my computer during rehearsals. So it is possible for certain to queue remotely. We're not there quite yet, I think. because particularly with closet works, which usually are kind of almost music video in a certain respect, they're so tailored to tracks, it's easy just to sort of make it all one automatic cue. With some of the theater pieces, particularly the ones that either like Footnote, that actually depended on a sort of interactivity with music and a flexibility, or pieces that like Hypochondriac, which have stretches that are just spoken and can have a lot of variability there. We've played with a lot of different ways of doing cueing, some of which is automatic, some of which is a little go button MIDI that plugs into my computer and I can press in the closet. But I think one of the next challenges would be to do a remote cue, which would be a lot of fun. So to answer that. And Ada's drinking beer. Fantastic. So we're going to wrap it up because the evening's winding down. It's a Saturday night. It's only 10, so maybe you all have someplace to go. I want to thank you all so much for coming out tonight here on this Saturday. I want to thank the Invisible Dog and Lucienne and Mamie Kanfer and Justin Stewart. I'm so tired. This piece is rough.
You danced so hard.
Oh, I want to thank the Invisible Dog
yesterday.
so much for all their support, and congratulations on the opening of their season. And again, please subscribe. If you can donate, please donate. The link is in the description below. Thank you to Afra for joining us as our guest choreographer. Thank you to Katie Rose, as always. And thank you to Ada in the comments there. We don't know how long this is going to last, but it does seem like it's going to last a little bit longer than we would all like. So I will still be here in the closet, and we will be back on Mondays starting on October 5th. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful night. Stay well, stay healthy, and again, thank you.